All right, welcome tonight to the live stream. And as always, be sure to let me know if you can hear me and let me know, give me a sound check. Make sure it's not too loud and not too low. Of course, I have to adjust on my end too with my headphones. But I wanted to go live tonight and talk about small church live stream setups. And so if you're interested in that type of thing, whether you be in the ministry, whether you be perhaps a layman in the church, or you work in the sound room, or you want to help your pastor in your church with live streaming, I'm here to help you tonight and want to be here for you to encourage you to live stream. It is a ministry to do live streaming with the church, and so that is our objective tonight. And we'll be here with you about 30 minutes. Lord willing, we'll see how that works out. And so if you're here, let me know. And we want to be able to make sure, first of all, that our sound is good and a good sound check. And of course, always I like to mention the microphone that I am using tonight is just go over some of the equipment that we're using tonight. I'm using the GoPro right here. And the GoPro gives you a wide field of view. As you can see right there, it's following my finger. And so you have that option. You get a wide field of view. I'm not particularly fond of the GoPro, but I left the DSLR camera at the church that we use for live streaming right now, so I had the GoPro. So video tonight, I'm streaming from StreamYard, free software. If you're interested in that, I can give you a free link in the chat, and you can get $10 off of that. StreamYard. It is the easiest, user-friendly interface that you can use, software that you can use to live stream. I highly recommend it, especially for those who are not looking to have a tremendous learning curve. And so just to let you know tonight how I'm live streaming, as you may be interested, I'm using the software StreamYard. I'm using the GoPro. And then also I have that going to an Elgato video capture card, and that is feeding into my computer. As far as audio is concerned, I'm going into I love this microphone, the TechZone Audio Stellar X2 Vintage. That's a mouthful. Going over to my Rode Procaster, and I'm not using any effects or anything right now. Okay, as far as the processing. So that gives you a little idea of how I'm live streaming right now. You are getting the pure audio from this microphone, which I think is awesome. GoPro, get good quality video out of that too, and that's an option for your live streaming. They get a little hot though, and been on long term. So it's not the go-to, it's a GoPro, but it's not the go-to thing. And that's what we're here about, talk about, some of the pros and cons of live streaming. And there's a lot of working parts. Let me give you the overview of what you need to be able to do live streaming at your home for your church, business, ministry. An overview of that is, number one, you're going to need a camera. Obviously, you're going to need video. And that is going to be the most expensive, well, outside a computer, is going to be the most expensive item. There are some budget options available. You could start out, first of all, with your smartphone. Okay, I got a iPhone 8 here Plus, and this is, you could start here. I actually want to share something about that because most people don't want to invest in a camera, and I can understand that, but just about everybody now has a smartphone, an iPhone. If you have an iPhone, you can get good quality video from that device. The only thing that you need to do is invest in a few other things that would be best for the phone. Okay. And this is a good question here. Good to have you, Kogan. And I love your church, that beautiful blue color on the back. And I want to commend you too, being I know you've been in the ministry, but to be a pastor during this pandemic, you just took the church. I really want to encourage these young folks. I've been noticing these young pastors like Kogan who are doing a good job with, you know, pastoring through a pandemic. I mean, I've had a little experience before pastoring, but I really admire you. So I want to encourage you on that and say you're doing a great, wonderful job. Praise the Lord for that. And Kogan asked the question, I'm wanting to get our audio plugged straight into my iPhone for Facebook Live for better sound. All right, Kogan, I have right in front of me the most awesome solution for that. Okay, and my recommendation as well. So if you're listening right now and you're interested in wanting to go live with your iPhone, there's only a couple things that you would need. Of course, this is the most expensive part. Number one, the thing about an iPhone, let me mention this. If you want good quality live streaming, you've got to answer a couple things. Number one, video. Your video needs to be clear and crisp. That goes with the second thing. Well, the second thing, and this is paramount, and this is what we're going to talk about, Kogan, right here, is audio. Okay? Audio is so very important. I've watched so many live streams where, and I know people are doing the best they can, but with a little training and a little advice, they could do a whole lot better with the audio part. Because if you put just iPhone out, and this is probably the problem most people are having, you put this out there and you put it on a tripod like this that I have here that has this little mount on it, and you set it in the back of your church or what have you, and of course you want to get the video, if you can, from the back camera, because it has better quality, number one. And then we're going to snap this thing in here. Okay, now I'm ready to live stream. Here's the problem I'm going to have with this, and then I'm going to give you a solution, Kogan, and everybody else listening. I got this tripod. I set it up. I'm ready to live stream. Okay, that's really all you need right there. This little tripod thing I have, this little clip. Okay, I'm ready to go. And you turn that thing on and you get an awesome video out of the iPhone, but I'm going to tell you something. Your audio, if you do that, is going to stink. I mean, it's going to be terrible. It's going to sound echoey, distant. It's not going to be authoritative. It's going to be far away, and it's going to be hard to listen to. Here's the solution for that. Number one, if you have a distance issue, here is the solution right here that I've used this one time, and I love it. In fact, I'm getting ready to do a YouTube video on it when I've done a test on it. And this is the answer, Kogan. The Rode Wireless Go system. This is a wireless microphone system that comes with, now we need to talk about a few things about this, okay? But as far as a wireless solution, because that's going to be a problem, and I've done a video, I wish I could share it right now, it's on my iPhone right here, where I've done a distance test in our sanctuary, and Kogan's done revivals for us, so he knows exactly what I'm talking about, that we have this long sanctuary, and we're in the back, and you can zoom in and that type of thing. But if you didn't want to go through your sound system and all that, the sound you're going to pick up, if you're in the sound room and you're not getting it from your board, or you're not getting it directly from your phone, you're going to be picking up conversations from people, which could be really bad. And it's going to sound distancy, echoey. So I've done a distance test. Let me show you this real quick. This is, again, the Rode Wireless Go. This is real popular right now. And, of course, I had to get it because I needed a solution as well. Let me show it to you. And there's a couple things that you will need. Later on, get with me. I'll share some links and things for this. And so you have these two little bitty, tiny, miniature receiver and a transmitter right here. I mean, these things are teeny tiny. I mean, right here. Okay. I mean, really small. This is let me get it right. This is the receiver, and I'm going to turn these on here. You just hold them down a few minutes each. I had a problem with these pairing out of the box, but I pushed some button and they paired. So what you can see here is as I'm talking, this would be on the camera. No, excuse me. This would be on the camera. So you see the meters as I'm speaking into it, which I'm clipping there. You don't want the yellow. You got the transmitter and the receiver. This is the receiver. And this is the transmitter that has the little microphone there. Okay. And what you do basically, let me take the comment down so you can see. I would take this, and it's a kind of a strange design in a way, but I'm going to show you how to fix that. Clip it here, and I know that's kind of strange design, but it's strange, but I like it. Okay, clip it on here, and it's going to pick up your audio. And as you can see here, I got it upside down. You can see, the meters here as I'm speaking. And this thing, wait till when I send out that YouTube video, y'all need to watch that. I done a distance test on this in our sanctuary, Kogan. I took this thing halfway in our sanctuary, 30 feet. It sounded like I was right there at the camera. Good quality audio, talking in just a regular voice. 30 feet away, I was picking up. Pulpit, in front of our pulpit's 50 feet away. Still did not lose signal. Then I stepped in our pulpit, behind the pulpit, 60 feet. I never lost signal on this thing right here. 60 feet. Now, there's a couple things about this. With anything, there's going to be some pros and some cons on it. Number one, it's going to cost you about $200. Okay? But if you're into this thing and you want good quality audio, okay, and that's the thing about live streaming, is there's so many people doing it now that if you're really going to stand out, you're going to have good quality. I mean, if you just, some guys, they just say, well, I'm going to stick a camera up and turn it on, and then all of a sudden, people are going to start watching. Well, it's like anything else. You have to work it. You have to have good quality. You have to make the investment. So if someone they already had an iPhone, okay, they said, well, I don't want to spend money on a camera. Well, you already did. You got an iPhone, right? Or a Samsung, LG, whatever. Get a tripod like this, a bigger tripod. I'm just using this example. Of course, you can hold this one too if you want to get into vlogging and all that stuff, which I have no interest in. But you could invest in the Rode Wireless Go. Okay, right here, it's picking up my voice. Clip it on you. The main thing, you'd have to have it charged. The microphone, again, is in the little box. That may or may not focus. You see right here, it's got a little insert there for a lavalier microphone. Now, I know not everybody's crazy about gear like I am, and I haven't even opened this yet, but like this here, where I clip it here, and we're talking about, smartphone solutions to live stream. And if I just wanted to use my iPhone, then I would hook this to my shirt or lapel or whatever. That could be a little awkward, right? So the solution to that would be to get the lavalier Go, which is the lavalier microphone that goes with this. So then you would have, the box that you could stick down in your pocket or your suit pocket or whatever. And then you would plug in here the lavalier Go. Now this thing right here, I haven't even opened it yet. Hadn't had a chance to. This thing is not cheap. Okay. This thing set me back $79 just for this. But I mean, this is sufficient here. Let me show you a couple things about this that you would need before we move on to something else. All right, this is going to be our solution for, now you don't have to go, let me back up, because a lot of people say, wow, that's out of my price range, right? That's out of the question. If you didn't have the distance issue and you wanted a wired lapel, that's an option. There are some cheaper options besides the Rode, but I can't really verify that they would be good quality and that type of thing. But if you do get these Rode, and I had another pastor locally actually in Danville, that went with my recommendation on the Rode right here. Okay. Transmitter, receiver. This is optional. Okay, that's kind of where they get you a little bit. Now, if you get this and you want it to go to your iPhone, you're going to have a couple of items to make it work. And I may or may not have mine in the box. Well, if you're like me and you have the iPhone 8, you got to have that 3.5 to the lighting cable, first of all. I'm talking about that little piece I lose 100 times a year. But then you're going to need an additional cable. Now, this is the cable that comes with the Rode Wireless Go. And you see it has the 2 rings around it. Now, there's a certain terminology for that. Basically, the Rode Wireless Go, the reason I got it is because, number one, it can go, I have a DSLR camera. It can work with that. I could get an attachment. It would hook to the GoPro and the iPhone. So, see, I'm knocking out 3 birds with 1 stone here. It comes with this cable. This cable, if you have an iPhone, is not going to help you. Put it back in the box. You're going to need this cable here, which is a TRS to TRRS. In other words, what you see here is one has 2 prongs. You see that right here on the black? On one end, okay, 2 prongs there. The other end has 3 rings. So in other words, I mean, if you know what a TRRS is, good for you. But if you don't, basically 2 rings, 1 ring. So to get your iPhone, you need that, which I don't have it. I got it hooked up to something else here I use for my call 'em all thing for the church. But now if you have the headphone jack, great, wonderful, that'll work, okay, in your phone. But if you're like me, you have to have that lighting attachment. And so you need this cord here. This is the off brand. I think I got this for $10, $12. Okay. So in other words, to get this into your iPhone, number one, I'm going to go black 2 ring here, TRS. And then this end here would go into that cable I don't have. I hope you know I'm talking about 3.5 to lighting for your iPhone, and then this in your iPhone, okay, there, and then this would go on the person, okay, that has the microphone. Now, it does come with these little windscreens, these little poofy things. They look ridiculous, but here's the thing when it comes to sound. These, if you was ever in an outside situation, these, you have wind blowing, you would snap that on there. Let's say you're doing a drive-in service. I know it looks strange and weird, but that's the purpose of them, okay? Is this little annel here, right? And so if you're outside in a drive-through situation, like I said, you may look a little ridiculous, but if you want good quality audio, there you go. Okay, and normally I wouldn't stick it on like that. Usually what I do on the inside is I would take it and put it here, kind of slide it within the button, which some shirts it works better. Slide it in there. You get the idea. Okay. Another thing too about audio is make sure with your equipment that you understand how it works. For example, this microphone I'm speaking into right now, excuse me. Really, I have this set up wrong, but I want to do this in a hurry. I got my video over here. Now my microphone's here. You notice as I face the microphone, I get better audio quality. Why is that? It's because I realize it's a condenser microphone and I'm speaking directly in it, and it is a side address microphone. Okay. This is not a microphone that I'm going to speak an end address microphone here. You know, it's a side address. So make sure you understand your equipment is a big part of it too. So you have that, that's a solution for the Kogan with the audio plug straight into my iPhone, Facebook for better sound. It'd be a good investment. If you look at live streaming, and the way churches should now, is it's a ministry. And, you know, a church ought to invest in something with good quality. I mean, you can get something cheap. Now, some cheaper options I could share with you, but I can't really recommend them because I haven't tried them. But the Rode here, I love Rode equipment. And they make good, they're a company out of Australia, make good quality, you know, something you can use, and comes highly recommended. Downside to this would be you forgot to charge it, because it is charged by USB, and so that's something you want to keep it charged. Okay, you're not going to have the, I mean, you could probably get a wall outlet for it, but it's going to be charged through your computer. So that's what I do on the smartphone side. You know, a tripod, a wired or wireless system, but get that audio right. Get that audio right. If you are using a iPhone, okay, get that audio fixed. You're going to have to buy something separate. There's no way around that. You're not going to get good quality audio out of the microphone of any smartphone. So just forget it. Throw it out of your mind. It's not going to happen. You're going to sound distant, echoey. You're going to pick up reverb. Unless you're in a room like me right now, that you see behind me, I have this foam. See, I'm using a condenser microphone. And the reason it sounds so awesome is because I'm in a treated room. If I was not in a treated room, I would have that echoey sound. So you want to be able to knock off all that in your church. People talking, sounding distant. And when you have good quality audio, you sound like you know what you're talking about. You sound authoritative. Okay, you can keep people's attention longer. You see that? If you came in here and I had bad audio, you wouldn't be able to pay attention long because you can't hear me. And that's so important. And you're welcome, Brother Kogan. Hope that helped you. That would be my number one recommendation. As I say to anybody listening out there, there are always cheaper options, and I'm not against that. But I really like good stuff that works and, is sustainable in the long term, a good investment. And so I trade a good pocket knife for this. I would really invest. As you can see here in the box, I have all the different USB, plug-ins, one in, and then what they call USB-C charge there. So there's a couple upsides. I always encourage you to watch a couple YouTube videos, and people are really good about sharing the pros and the cons of that. That's one of the things I love to talk about most when it comes to live streaming is audio, because it's one of the most important aspects of it. I'm turning these Rhodes off as we speak. All right, so you have that option. Now, what is the downside to using your iPhone? Well, it's going to be a couple things. And there's always pros and cons. Just give you, yes, also looking forward to October, Brother Kogan. Amen. We have, one of the things is you get there, you get to church, and it's your phone. Let me give you a great piece of advice. Be sure that on your iPhone, if I'm an iPhone guy, but you have it on all of them, make sure that when you are using your iPhone or your phone for live streaming, that you go in, and I may hesitate to say this, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, maybe not. I was going to say put it on airplane mode. Now, you won't be on airplane mode if you're making a video, but I don't think you want to do it because that'd cut out the internet. We don't want to do that either. But you definitely want to turn notifications, Facebook and all that off, or put it, like mine, I think if I put it on vibrate and turn it off, I'm not getting all those bings and text and all those things. So that would be something to think about. So number one, using your phone, make sure you charge it the night before, just some things like that. Charge your phone, make sure the lens is clean. Okay, that's something I need to do with mine. Do some ththings like that. You get your tripod, your little clip. I got several of these clips that can be purchased very cheaply on Amazon or whatever, $5, $6 clips there, and then side, use the rear facing camera for better quality. And so anyway, it is awesome. This iPhone right here can record in 4K, I think up to 60 frames a second. It might be 30 frames a second, but that's pretty awesome quality for an iPhone. Now, that's doing video. Now, if you don't have a 4K camera, a lot of people, that's real popular, 4K, don't worry about it. This GoPro I'm using right now shoots in 4K and 2K. But right now I got it set on 1080p, which when you live stream, you only 720. So if I was making a YouTube video that I want to upload later, that would matter. But right now that's not mattering because I can't stream in that. I can't stream in that quality. So don't worry about that. So you got a couple options: video, iPhone. Hey, if you got a GoPro, I'm using a GoPro right now. I wouldn't go with that because to get the GoPro into your, I'm using a GoPro as a webcam. and good to see Tim Butler, because I sold him my webcam. And so usually I use a DSLR camera here, but I'm using the GoPro as a backup. But you have to go to a video capture card, which costs me $100, okay, to go into the computer. So before you do that, you could, honestly, you could live stream with a webcam. I would not recommend it because your quality is going to stink. But I mean, you could do it. You could use a webcam. The quality is going to be terrible, but I mean, it would work. Now, another option would be, and let me bring it up on my screen here. The cheapest option to live stream video as a permanent solution, like I was talking about earlier, if you're using a cell phone, smartphone is what I'm trying to say. If you're using that, downside of it is it charged? Do you have one? It's not going to be a permanent setup. So it's going to be a little aggravation about this back and forth thing, and that can get old pretty quick. But if you go to, I think I can get it to bring up on Amazon here. And I'm getting ready to make an installation tomorrow of a live stream set up in a church, which is, excuse me, I got several packages available. And I'm putting in one tomorrow using the camcorder. This one right here is of course it's sold out. But I think we found it the other day on B&H Photo. Is this camcorder right here, which usually runs about $200, $250. It's a camcorder. And the reason that it works, and this is the Vixia HFR 800. The reason it works is, remember this, if you're looking for a camera to live stream, it must have one thing, okay? It must have a clean HDMI out. Now, what I mean about that, and that's the reason this camera is so popular for live streaming, because it's a budget solution, pretty good quality. Now, at a distance, you're zooming in, you're going to lose some quality. We use this for a while. We still have it. I'm going to use it as a backup. But you see here, let me go back to that picture. You have this HDMI port that you can go into your video capture card, okay? It has clean HDMI out, which means, if you bring up a camera and it has the battery life and it has, that you're recording and all the little information on the screen, that's what I'm talking about. Some cameras do not give you the option to take that information off. So when you're recording, it's going to have the time, the date, back like when Bob Saget was doing, America's Funniest Home Videos, and people were recording and you could see the time stamp, the date stamp, the battery life, and all that. So that's what we mean about a simple solution that has a clean HDMI out. Cheapest solution you're going to find out there that I'm aware of is this camcorder. Okay, you see it's running $250, actually $250 now since the pandemic. Okay, $250. Now, when you get into live stream, and by the way, this is my YouTube page. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you would find me Supplemental Seminary, and you can see I've got different tutorials here on live streaming setups. I've got them on different microphones. So if you haven't already, go over, be sure to subscribe. I've got 73 subscribers right now, and I'd like to hit 100. So, and I do have some solutions here, these two videos that talk about live streaming setups. This one being the video here that talks about, this is the camera I was talking about here, and then that's going to go to video capture card. Now the problem now, the challenge is finding a video capture card right now. Everybody's live streaming. It was like all of a sudden we become televangelists. And we had this tremendous learning curve. Before, live streaming was like, okay, for a church, well, we might do it, we might not. And now it's almost, this is probably not the right word, but it's almost essential now, really, to do live streaming. I would encourage everyone to do it. And so you're going in here to the video capture card. The one I recommend here, the thing is, it's going to be hard to find them, okay? You're not going to find this black magic right now. I mean, if you do, it's going to be expensive, okay? So that's the challenge too, is finding one. I did find a budget option yesterday. If you go into, Amazon, just type video capture card, you're going to get, now the thing about Amazon, if they're sold out of something, they're not going to suggest what you're looking for. They're going to suggest what they have. They're pretty slick. So you see here, this device right here, I just ordered. I'm going to be installing this tomorrow for a friend of mine at a church, a live stream right down the road. And you can see here, this is a video capture card. And what this does essentially is takes, in order to get it to the video to your computer, okay, you got to have camera, come off at HDMI, and we're going to put it in the end right here. And then on the other side, we have USB. The USB is going to take it into your computer. Yeah, that's what I've done here. GoPro, video, not this one. I have the Elgato. But anyway, I've went into that one, into my computer, and that's what makes the video possible to live stream. So I may have mentioned this before, your money is going to be in your camera, okay? A computer, if you don't already have one. So this, I'll let you know how this one turns out. There's one thing I would suggest is getting the USB 3.0. It's going to be the faster. I mean, you got a lot of 2.0 out there. You see some cheaper options like, wow, $27. Okay, but it's 2.0 if you bring it up. So if it's cheaper, I'm not saying that wouldn't work, but you want good quality. That's the whole point of this. Next is, finding that. And you see there's just one stop between you and the camera and the computer. Between that, we have to have a device. Video capture device, and then we can talk about the sound system here in a minute. You may have some questions about that. You need an audio interface. I suggest I have an audio interface here that I'm not using. I can show it as an example. Okay, let me bring myself back up on screen here. This is an audio interface, a Focusrite. I really like Focusrite. The one I'm installing tomorrow is a Scarlett Solo. This is a Focusrite iTrack Solo. It's a little different, same concept. We need to take XLR, the 3-prong, like I have here, that you see in your church. Okay, right here. Most people don't know what XLR is. Just think your church microphones. Okay. XLR here, USB 2.0 here to the computer, as you can see on the screen here. Okay. You can pick one of these up right now, Scarlett Solo. Solo means it only has one input, XLR input. If you get the 2i2, it means it has 2 XLR inputs. This actually has an input for XLR, channel 1, and right here for an instrument or 1/4 inch input. Okay. Right here, headphones like I'm wearing right now. All right. That's what this accomplishes. You can get these relatively inexpensive. I'm reaching down here because I got more equipment at my feet. This is a PreSonus. You see it has 2 inputs. I got it in the box here. This one, if you was asked me which one I would recommend, the Focusrite Scarlett Solo, okay, or $100, and then if you really wanted just something good that had the meters on it, I'd get the Mo2. I'd have to look that up real quick. Let's go back to the screen and look up the Mo2. I like this one. It comes with good reviews also. What's that thing called? Mo2 something. Forgot the name of it. Might have spelled it wrong. Let's just put audio interfaces and see what comes up. Okay, so you got the PreSonus, you got the Scarlett Solo 3rd Gen. It's sold out. Here's another PreSonus Focusrite. Now, if you really want to get big time, get the Universal Audio Apollo Twin X. It's only $900, right? No. You don't need that. You can get a Behringer. You know, here's a Behringer. It's sold out, but let me go to B&H Photo, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So check between 3 locations if you're having a hard time finding equipment. Number 1, Amazon. Number 1, First Stop Shop. B&H Photo, Sweetwater. So let's go to audio interfaces. Actually, I've seen it pop up right there before. All right, here's the, so that's the 2i2. This is the one I was talking about, Scarlett Solo. It is $109. Yeah, a Focusrite Scarlett Solo, here, 3rd Gen, $109. That's, oh, here it is right here, the $169. This is, of course, you see it's a top seller, $170. I like it because you can see there it has the meters, whoops, it has the meters that are going in and then out. I like that. That's helpful. That's very helpful. The Focusrite it has a light around the ring here that shows you if, let me bring my screen back up, right here, that would be green or yellow or red if you're clipping, okay? But on the Mo2 here, $170, you have 2 inputs, which are both XLR and 1/4 inch, and you got the in and out meters. I'll be honest with you, I like that. That could be very helpful. Okay. A little bit more, a couple more options on the back. Just depends on what your budget is. It's all going to accomplish what you need it to accomplish. All right, looking at a couple other things here. Yeah, Tim Butler with World Without Rule of Law. With the HDMI, you still need a video capture device, correct? Yes. 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 The only reason that I'm aware of you would not need a video capture card would be if you go with a Ptz Camera. Let me show you what that is. The Ptz Camera would go directly into, let me put it back on the screen here, okay, it would not need a video capture card. Okay, a Ptz Camera is what we're talking about right here. Okay, only $1,800. Okay, this is your option, and the reason for that, you can see on the back, we have, well, I wish I would stay up there. You have, because I want to point at that. Right here, you see you can hook up through PoE, which is Power over Ethernet. You have all these different abilities, HDMI here. Okay, now I think with that one, questionable whether or not you need a video capture card, but it also has, I don't see it here, well, this might not be the right one, because it does have what we call I'm looking for it here, which would be not PoE, SD, anyway, it's SDI, that's what I'm looking for, SDI, okay, which you could get I'm trying to think of, okay, you would get a card to put in your computer is what I was trying to say there, okay. So, as Tim said, with the HDMI, you still need a video capture device. Yes. With, of course, we talked about the iPhone. No. Camcorder, yes. GoPro, yes. Let's see what else. And hopefully my GoPro is beeping at me. So that's another thing, is having continuous power is another thing, because it may die on me. If it does, you'll still hear my voice, but the camera will go out. But anyway, yeah. All right, let's see what else here. Okay, and something else too for a webcam. Raymond here, you can see him in the picture, got him started on live streaming, and he got a real expensive webcam, and that thing is awesome. I mean, he's getting good video. I'm very impressed. What was that thing, Raymond? About $30 or something? All right, so that was, that was an option. All right, so for the webcam, and I wish I could click on that. If it gave me the direct link, I'm trying to steal it from you, but it won't let me. Let me see if I can find that. Remind me of the name of that thing again, Raymond. Let's see, this is a webcam. It had a weird name, and it was really inexpensive. Let me scroll down here. I think it was like $30 or something. And it's a weird looking, I mean, this thing's humongous. Now, this is the one I like, which I had before. This is the Logitech C920. All right, that'll do everything you need to. Good, compact. Of course, don't use the audio from it because it stinks, but you need a separate microphone. But I can't necessarily find it one. Yeah, that's it, Raymond. It's, yeah, Rofer. What a name. R-O-F-F. Okay. R. Webcam. Let's see if I see. Oh, here it is. This little booger right here, it's cheap, and no offense, Raymond, but it's kind of ugly. But I'm telling you, this thing, I'm so impressed with this $30 webcam that Raymond bought. And this thing, I was so impressed with the quality. I mean, it shoots in 1080p, 30 frames a second. Hey, that'll work because you can't stream it in 720, so great. All right. Built-in microphone, which he has a separate dynamic microphone. Plug and play, and, it's got a good wide angle there, which can be good or bad. But, hey, $30, Of course, it'd be a distance issue when it comes to... Now, if you're live streaming personally, hey, that's all you need. Check out Raymond's live streaming, the quality he's getting off at $30, $30 webcam. I mean, that thing is humongous, but it works well. Okay. And then Tim says, I have HDMI on computer and in camera. Thought it worked directly, but it doesn't. Yeah. Yeah, you have an HDMI on the back, but no, it won't go to the camera. Yeah, it sure won't. You got to have a capture card, which the price of those, the more popular ones going up, others coming down with options coming out such as this, affordable options. Okay. So Raymond said, it's $30 and it's a Rofer. So we got Raymond started on live streaming. We got him a good quality $100 Audio Technica, a dynamic microphone. And then he got the $30 webcam, and he's got it going on here, live streaming from the house. So that's a different thing. Yeah, and Tim, he bought my Logitech C920, and it is decent quality pick. I mean, it's the same as this one. It's going to be at 1080p. If you recorded, you're going to get better quality. And that's an option for churches too. Live streaming is a lot of elements, and that's what I want to talk to you about. Let's run through them. Video, you got to have the camera. Video capture card. You got to have, audio interface. Then you got to have software like I'm running right now, StreamYard, to do, the things I'm doing now, which is neat because you can put banners and different things like this on here. Okay, so that could really add a lot to your live stream. I can add people's comments here. I love StreamYard. Geniuses that came up with this. So user-friendly. Now, I can use vMix. That's an option. You have OBS, which is free, but quite the learning curve, but it gives you more control over the audio and that type of thing. Like right now, one of the things I don't like about StreamYard is you don't have as much control over the audio. So I really have to ask you folks whether or not I'm clipping or distorting, because what I see on my end is not what you hear on your end, and I don't have a way to monitor that, which I put in a suggestion. If they get that fixed, they'll be great. All right, yeah, like you said, HDMI computer and camera, yeah, it won't work. Yeah, then you said, the high quality, decent quality from a C920. So I'm going to stick on here. If you have some questions about live streaming, video creation, if you don't want to live stream, you don't have to. Another option would be, and this one, you would have more control over it. Let's say somebody was in a real tight fix, because I know, funds are limited, budgets, know-how, knowledge, having the workers. I mean, there's a whole lot goes into this. If you wanted to, you could still live stream even if you didn't have the live streaming equipment. Let me explain. If you pre-record something with a phone, it could later be set as a premiere live stream through YouTube and Facebook. So it wouldn't be necessarily live. I mean, it would be live for that time, but it was pre-recorded and it was set as a premiere. So that's an option too. If you said, well, I just can't afford all this equipment. I guess I'm here to tell you there's really no excuse not to be on video is really what I'm getting at. So you could record it, if you didn't feel comfortable, because I know a lot of people feel very uncomfortable around a camera. They feel uncomfortable around a microphone, and rightfully so. It takes a lot of getting used to. There's so many different elements when it comes to live streaming, so many things that can be very frustrating because there's a lot of working parts. And when you have a lot of working parts, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. I mean, like right now, my GoPro could die on me. The battery, I was charging it, it could go out on me right mid live stream, which is not the end of the world, but it could happen. So do I have that charged? My computer crashed a couple weeks ago. My audio, something may not be right there. And then my software may not recognize the audio interface after reset my computer. And then you're mid live stream and you're live. So anything could happen. I mean, right now my kids could bust up in here. They could yell in the back. So that's, there's just so many things that it's problematic, but everything's problematic. Raymond says, would you recommend the Scarlett Solo for any dynamic XLR mic? Also, do you plug your headphones straight into the audio interface? Very good questions, Raymond. You're learning. I can tell you're learning a lot because you're asking good quality questions. All right, first of all, would you recommend the Scarlett Solo for any dynamic XLR mic? Yes. Yes, it's a good budget, middle-of-the-road option that is going to get you where you need to go. Raymond has the microphone I would recommend to anyone that's just starting out on live streaming. You wouldn't want to go with like what I have here as a condenser microphone, because there's a difference in a dynamic and a condenser microphone. This thing picks up everything. It's a condenser microphone. That can be good and that can be bad. A dynamic microphone is what I have here. I use this a lot. I love this microphone, which is the Rode Procaster. Rode Procaster. I get it mixed up. I don't know where they get their names from because my interface is called the Rode Procaster. That's so confusing. This is a dynamic microphone. Now, what's the difference between the two? Well, a dynamic microphone, which I could allow you to hear this now. Let me turn it up. Well, I can't do both at the same time. Hang on a second. Let me mute that, bring it up. Okay, now you're hearing me on the dynamic microphone. I got to turn down this. I may be like really clipping, I'm not sure. But I have all the effects on this. Now, what's the difference? The difference is, and hopefully it's not too loud. Let me bring it down some. You let me know in the comments if I'm blowing you out of here. A dynamic microphone such as this, okay, make sure I got everything muted. like I'm supposed to. Oh, there we go. Is a dynamic microphone. This is an end address microphone, means I need to speak into it directly, and I need to be closer to it because it's a passive microphone, and you're not gonna. It doesn't have a lot of oomph to it. It's a very quiet microphone. And so what I mean by that is I need to speak directly into a dynamic microphone. You know, I need to speak to it off axis in order to get the great sound and quality audio that I trust I'm getting right now if I'm not too loud. All right, off the dynamic. If you have a lot of background noise, excuse me, like that, a lot of background noise, you have a lot of, children in the house, and you don't want to pick up a lot of what they call ambient room noise, and you have an untreated room, you want to go with a dynamic microphone. Now let me go back to this with the condenser, and you hear the difference. See, this one right now I'm speaking into has all the effects on it, compressor, all that stuff. Let's switch over. Okay, now I'm back on I have to bring my headphones back up. So now I'm on the condenser microphone here, and you see I don't have to be as close to it. Bring that up just a little bit for me. Okay, so I can hear it. And so anyway, you can see now that I don't have to be as close to it, but yet if my kids make a noise in the next room, you're going to hear it. If I tap my desk, you're going to hear it. If I shuffle my clothes, you're going to hear it. Okay, it picks up everything, can be good or bad. All right, and then plus I'm in a treated room, and so that helps. Let me show you what I would recommend to someone just starting out. If he's doing a podcast, let me switch this over real quick. And dynamic microphone, Audio Technica, what is that thing? Audio Technica dynamic microphone. Okay, you want to go with, here it is. If someone's in an untreated room and they were saying, I'm just starting out, I want a good microphone that's going to follow me my whole journey, I would say get the Audio Technica ATR 2100X. The reason I would recommend it is because that's a weird thing it's doing there. The GoPro. Let me hide myself there. You have the Audio Technica ATR 2100X USB cardioid dynamic microphone. The reason that I would recommend this is because hopefully, it does show the back of the microphone, but the good thing about this one is it's number one, it's USB, so you can plug it directly into your computer. But later you want to upgrade and get an audio interface, you can do XLR as well. Okay, so you could do both. So that would be an option. Okay. So that's a thought. All right. So like I said, you got the Audio Technica ATR 2100 here, and my GoPro's doing weird stuff. It's like getting like a landscape view or something, like a real wide angle for some reason. I don't know why. GoPros can be aggravating. This one's getting on my nerves. But anyway, usually I got a wide field of view now. So, yeah, I would get the Scarlett Solo, as you said there, Raymond, and you'd be fine there. Yeah, ATR 2100, you can see it right here in his pick. And then he's got foam cover over it, okay? So real quick, before we get off here, got 5 minutes. If you have any questions about audio, video, let me know how I can help you. I'll be here a few minutes and we'll share with you anything I can to help. So that's the live stream. There's a whole lot goes into it, but like I said, if someone push comes to shove and you just wanted to record, let me mention this, just throw it out there as an option. Say you had the pastor, the preacher didn't feel comfortable with live streaming and going through getting all the equipment and all that stuff, then maybe There would be the option to record and then upload later, which would be an option that you could set a premiere. And then another benefit to that would be you could edit it. Okay, of course you would need software for that. Oh, this is the second question. Thank you for reminding me. Do you plug your headphones directly into the audio interface? Yes. Yes, you do. Okay. Now, well, yes and no. Raymond, with the ATR Audio Technica here, you would now if you're doing USB, okay, and I wish it showed the back of this microphone. I'm disappointed at that because I need to see the back of the microphone for illustration purposes, but it doesn't allow me to. Now, Raymond, if you are using it by USB, then you need to plug your headphones directly into the microphone, okay? And what you would be getting, obviously, is the sound from the microphone, okay? Because that's another thing, too, with live streaming and things. There's several ways that you could monitor what you're doing, okay? So if you're using, let's just use this example right here, if you're using USB, Raymond, then I would plug directly into the microphone. If you're using XLR and you get an audio interface, plug your headphones into the audio interface. Hopefully that makes sense. So it kind of just depends there. So that's what you want to do with your headphones to monitor. I'm wearing headphones right now, not because they look good, because they don't necessarily help my looks any. But the reason that I'm using them is because I wish I could figure that thing out. It's so weird. But anyway, the thing is, the reason I'm wearing them is so that I can monitor my voice. Okay. So I'm using my headphones as monitors so I can know if I'm speaking loud enough or not. Okay. And that I can hear myself. And then plus two, if you're doing a live stream with somebody else on there, you would monitor it that way. Okay. So real quick, if there's any more questions, got a couple minutes here if you'd like to jump in there and get your question answered. When it comes to live streaming setups, we've talked microphones, we've talked video, we've talked how to use, we've talked about the Rode Wireless Go system, okay, and the Lavalier Go. In fact, this Lavalier Go could plug directly into your iPhone and bypass the wireless, but what is the difference? This would be wired. See, so there's give and take on everything. All right. So that is pretty much, there's a lot to it, but really it's simple. If you have the right elements, you need number 1, video, number 2, audio, number 3, lighting, number 4, software, number 5, a really good internet connection. There's a lot of little things you need in there, but if someone says, what is it? What are the 5 things live stream? I'd say, okay, video, audio, lighting, and then software, and a really good internet connection. Okay, so Raymond says, okay, so I would need to get the Scarlett 2i2 in order to use the headphones as well. Well, actually, you could get away with, let me bring it up. Let's go to B&H Photo. Really, if you was doing live stream personally, Raymond, you only need this one, which is this one is the Scarlett Solo. All right, Solo. And the reason it's the Solo is because it has one input here, XLR input. When you say the 2i2, the difference would be it would have 2 XLR inputs. Okay, so if I type, which they have, like this is the 2i2, so you see it costs more, but then you got 2 inputs. So let's say you're doing a podcast or a live stream with 2 people there at the same time, then you could, you have 2 inputs. So that's the difference there is that, 2i2. Yeah, that's hilarious, Tim. Boy, when I got that big perspective, it showed how humongous I am. The GoPro definitely make you look humongous, the way it's got that field of view, and whatever's closer to the camera, it emphasizes. So I'm the closest thing, and it emphasized. That's funny. That's hilarious. So, yeah, the 2i2, you could go with a Behringer, but I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, at one time those things were running $30, but I would either get the Focusrite Scarlett Solo, or I would get a USB and call it a day. I wouldn't even go XLR personally. Nope. I mean, you could use it. I mean, it comes with good recommendations, but I probably should have said that. Yeah, you could get a Behringer, but I wouldn't personally. But I mean, they work, but I don't think the quality is the best. Especially when you add 50 more bucks and get twice the price. Anyway, but I mean, you could get by with a Behringer. Okay. So yeah, Raymond, you're sweet. I'm all about the budget. Yeah, exactly, because that's the bigger part of it. So anyway, I'm going to end this live stream tonight. Tomorrow I'll be having installation of a church. I will be installing, and I'll bring this closer to me here since it went to this wide angle, and I'm getting like this fisheye. This is what they call the fisheye. For the GoPro has that fisheye. If you ever heard about the fisheye video, this is it. You see the way it emphasizes what's ever closer to the camera, like my big nose. But, and so anyway, I'm installing a live stream setup tomorrow with a church, which will be the Scarlett Solo. We're going to get the audio into there, this device here. And then also using the cheaper video capture card I pointed out. We're going to give that a whirl because it's the only one available. Back up here a little bit and find that, maybe. I search for a bunch of stuff. Yeah, this little device right here. Okay. So we're going to use that to get the video into the computer. Then we're using the camcorder, the Canon Vixia. Okay, we're going to hook that up. And then we're going to be going into a gaming computer, which would be probably the best option. Get a gaming computer that would have the specs. If you look at a computer, three things. Number one would be the RAM. You want at least 8 gigs of RAM. I wouldn't go below that. I mean, you probably could and get away with it, but if you're buying one, get 8 gigs with expandable RAM to add it later. Get an Intel processor, i5. I'd at least try to get an i5. If I could spend a little more, get an i7 processor at least. And you want to check on that video capture card. Okay, make sure it has a good quality video capture card. Okay, don't worry so much about the hard drive space. You can go with you can get an external hard drive later. You ain't got to worry about that. All right, so anyway, appreciate y'all being on with me. Thank you, Tim, Raymond. And we wish you all the best in live streaming, recording, whatever it may be, podcasting, video creation, video editing, all that good stuff. If you need help, let me know. Well, be sure to go to my channel, subscribe, YouTube page, go to Facebook, Supplemental Seminary. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sharing some more stuff in the future. Let me know if I can be of help. In the meantime, this is David Toller. Have a good night.